shapes steel. The spirit shapes the soul. HOI. Iron sharpens iron. As steel shapes steel, the spirit shapes the soul. HOI. Iron sharpens iron.
Plantation. 9 to 5 be the time I was wasting. Man, I feel like I need a vacation. Saving up for my resignation. Why I feel like my manager hating. Ain't the one for no verbal castration. This government ain't giving reparation. We'll go to crime trying to fight the temptation.
Joys and tribulations, demonstrate patience in every situation. Picking up the pieces to their heart restoration. People broken hearted and in need of salvation. Salvation. Yeah. We in captivity. We done lost our history. Disconnected from his laws, now there's no integrity. Here's the book and let them see, because they dying in these streets. Walking in darkness and where the carcass is, the eagles be. Walking in darkness and where the carcass around us like vultures. Murder on their mind when they approach us. Let your light shine, watch them scatter like roaches. Babylon falling cause we taking back our culture. Heal our land, Abba now put us back in agriculture. This word burning them up, Romans is a flamethrower. We prophesy destruction, nukes coming, game over. International, continental, ballistic missile. Them bombs dropping like rain, no drizzle. The lake of fire make them sizzle. Showing fruits of the spirit, we don't gather figs of thistles. That's the dog, you know, so just like you were saying, right?
Hey, my name is Amani Bright Laws. I'm a travel business owner. My business is Always Shine Bright Travel, where we help you discover your next bright destination. I want to talk to you really quickly today about becoming a travel business owner. Listen, if your passion is traveling, if your passion is exploring the world, if your passion is wanting to travel and explore the world, then you should become a travel business owner, okay? I have 2 easy ways to get started. Less than 1 minute, okay? The first way, up here, our website, travelagentworkshop.com. And please use my sponsor ID, Always Shine Bright, okay? The second way is a text code. Text the word workshop to the number 281-767-9711. And again, reference my sponsor ID, Always Shine Bright, okay? Listen. The workshop is free. It's a free 3-day workshop, which gives you all the information on how to get started to become a travel business owner. Okay. Any questions that you have will get answered within that workshop. Okay. So let me meet you on the money making side of travel, where you can turn your passion into your paycheck.
Y'all know what time it is. It's your boy Chef D-Nail over here at Guess Who's Cooking. Good cooking, good eating, good living. Y'all know how we do it every Sunday about this time, man. We're going to get straight to it. We got the chicken and dumplings, all right? We got the perch fish with the mac and cheese, with the yams, with the 5 cheese toast over here on the Texas side. And of course, we got the world famous turkey tips, all right? We also got, on this one, we got the greens with the turkey tails, and we got the spaghetti. You already know what time it is, man. Hit the link, 773-992-4737 is the phone number to place your order every Sunday, all right? And you can hit us up on the Cash App to make payments at Guess Who's Cooking, the number 2, all right? You can hit the www.guesswho'scooking on the World Wide Web. You can catch us on Facebook Marketplace under Guess Who's Cooking, and of course on TikTok, man, at Guess Who's Cooking. Come on down, get your orders.
Give me shame, I give you peace from underneath. Give me mind and being light to reignite. Can you open up the doors to let me in? Can you open up the doors to let me in? You could put the heart inside, don't touch my head. As I sing the love inside from out my mouth. Tell me what you need to find. Tell me no. Tell me what you need to find.
Khan, shalom, shalom, shalom. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being the name of his only begotten Son, Slakia, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. This class is called Fall of an Empire. I will be the teacher of this class, and my swordsman today is
Chaasadyah, H-O-I-L-A.
Khan. All praises, East Coast, West Coast. You know what I mean? Unity. All right. Like I said, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Kum Yasha'Allah, rise Israel. Double honors to our elders, waking up the lost sheep of Israel in these last days. You so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, telling you to come home to your true nationality, to your true heritage, the scriptures. All right. The God's word. All right. Following these laws, statutes, commandments. Okay, so we're going to start off with the Lord's Prayer. You can find that in Matthew chapter 6, verse 9 through 13. All right, and this is in Paleo Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kwadash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malafaka, Taba'a, Ratazayaka, Haya, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Natananawa, Lacham, Kau, Yawam, Wasalaf Nawa, Kabawaf Nawa, Kasalaf Nawa, Kabawafianawa, Wala'a, Sabianawa, Banasayan 1, Abo, Hawashayanawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwaf, Wa'ala, Watapalaraf, Lai Wilumyam, Aman. Khan. All right, so let's get started. It's a lot to go over. There is war in the Middle East. There's wars breaking out. Possibly people jumping in these wars, putting their foot in the ring. All right, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how America, just like all empires, have a roughly 200, 250, 300 year reign. And America is at its limit right now. We're going to talk about how that's possible, how these things are happening, the oil market, the job market, all those things, the tornadoes. You know, the Lord is right now pressing America, pressing Babylon, and Babylon it's folding up. You know what I mean? This place is folding up. So we're going to first get into how, you know, leaving out of the ancient Egypt, we went to war with Amalek, right? And what we can learn from that, because right now Amalek is pretty much the main character, one of the main characters in this war over there. They shouldn't be there in the Holy Land. These are Revelation 2 and 9ers, 1980 and 1948ers, 1949ers. Shouldn't be there. So what can we learn from what Moses, Aaron, Joshua, and Hor did? Okay, let's start with Exodus chapter 17 and verse 10. All right, well, one thing we can do is
the book of Exodus.
Go ahead, King.
This is the book of Exodus chapter 17, verse 10. So Joshua did as Moses had said to him and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill.
So it's wartime, right? This is wartime. Go ahead.
And it came to pass when Moses held up his hand that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed.
So raising up his hand, Israel's winning. When his hands drop, we start losing. Okay, go ahead.
But Moses' hands were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, the one on the one side and the other on the other side, and his hands were steady until the going down of the sun.
So he got help. His brothers helped him up. His brothers held him up in this time period. Okay. Let's talk about the stone. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4.
First,
Because when we look at the scriptures talk about the rock, who's the rock? You know what I mean? Our our steady foundation, the cornerstone, right? Go ahead, you bring that out.
the book of First Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 4. And did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them. And that rock was Hamashiach Yahushua.
Con. So we got to have a foundation going into war with anyone. You have to have a foundation. Right now, it looks like the United States doesn't have a solid foundation. They don't have a moral high ground to stand on. You know what I'm saying? They just attacked Iran. When asked, what do you want to get out of this? What's the plan? What's your end game? Either Pete Hegseth or Donald Trump, they don't have a real goal. You know what I mean? Their goal is to cause havoc in the Middle East, and that's from the Amalekites. The Amalekites obviously have something pretty devastating on Donald Trump to make him just pull the trigger, so haphazardly. You know what I mean? So their foundation is Baal. That's what it comes down to. Iran burned the statue of Baal. They actually did it twice now, but they made a statue and burned it. That is their god. Their god is based on gold, oil, and drugs. And to appease their god, they abuse and unalive children. Okay, so that's their foundation. Our foundation has to be Hamashiach Yahushua, has to be the word of God. Okay, and we have to build each other up. We might not be around each other 24/7. We might not be in the same city or state, but we can most certainly hold each other up through prayer. Okay, let's go back to Exodus 17, and we're going to go to verse 13.
Is the book of Exodus, chapter 17, verse 13. And Joshua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword.
So with the foundation and with the help of their brothers, working together, coming together, a nation not desired, they were able to defeat the Amalekites. All right, let's go to Exodus chapter 17 and verse 6.
Exodus 17 and 6.
Khan.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 17, verse 6. Behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel.
Khan. So, Paul says the rock was Yahushai, and the rock gave him water in the dry desert. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing that through Yahushai the Most High won't do for us. Okay, keeping that in mind. And this fight isn't a physical fight. Now, there are people physically fighting on the earth, but we got to understand the importance of having a spiritual foundation in the word and moving forward into our kingdom. Okay, having the confidence that we are going to make it into the kingdom because doing everything in our power to get there. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 12. The empire is collapsing. The empire is falling. So what do we do in this time period? Do we sit there and watch with popcorn? Now, I got my popcorn, okay? But we have to continue to fight, continue the spiritual journey of fasting, prayer, meditation, reading the scriptures, following after the feast days, the high holy days, following after the law, statutes, commandments. Go ahead, King, we got it. You can bring it out.
Khan is the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Khan. Now we got to keep in mind, right, that they believe in what they say. They full-heartedly believe in their God. They don't take days off. When it's time to sacrifice a baby, they're doing it. All right. When it's time to eat intestines, they're not stopping. They're not saying, you know what, not today. Okay. So we have to equally be 10 times as fervent for our God than they are for theirs. Because like the scriptures say, we're not wrestling against flesh and blood. You know, the things that they're doing, they're putting they're casting spells. You know, they're on those yachts doing all types of witchcraft, horrible things, and we can read it through the Epstein files. You know, it's amazing that the Most High has allowed us to see what these people do pretty much on a daily basis. You know, when we talked about before, they eat beef jerky, quote unquote. It has nothing to do with beef. You know, they're cannibals. You know what I'm saying? So these are the rulers in dark places. This is them. We can see them, and a lot of them, they blacked out their names and left the victims' names unredacted. Okay, so it's just evil on top of evil. But knowing that this is a spiritual fight, you gotta strap up your boots. You know what I'm saying? Symbolically, and it goes down the line of the armor of God, what to put on. You know, but this is something that we have to do on a daily basis. You know, no days off. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully, with a class, these type of classes, it makes things easier to go in that direction because you can see the end coming. You know what I mean? We're looking down the barrel of America is looking down the barrel of thermonuclear destruction by North Korea right now. North Korea threw their hat in the ring. You know, Kim Jong-un said, you know, he's pretty much tired of America. And with that in mind, Kim don't like, and Kim got some bombs for it. Okay. Speaking of bombs, let's see what happened in New York City, the largest metropolitan city on the East Coast. You know what I mean? Let's go to let's get Revelation 18 and 21, and then we'll go to the video. Because this place got to go.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all.
So this place is going to go down by violence. Okay, so violence is something, if you live in America, you better get used to it, because you're going to be seeing a plethora of violence in the very near future, right? The FBI just said that Iran is possibly going to strike California with drones. I don't believe that. That sounds like a false flag to me. America's losing. Israel's being turned into a parking lot. So that sounds like something to galvanize the states. Because right now, everybody's like, you know, a lot of people are voting for Iran. A lot of people in America are voting for Iran. Like, I don't care what happens to this place. This place has been evil to everybody. So it's just karma. It's judgment, you know. But we're going to be seeing some things, you know. So the false flags, possibly on their way. Be on the lookout for them. And this one didn't seem like a false flag. It seemed like they tried to blow some stuff up, you know. But let's watch the video. All right, give me 1 second.
Federal prosecutors releasing new details in the case of two Bucks County teenagers accused of attempting to support ISIS during a protest in New York City. The feds say the teens tried to detonate explosives on Saturday near the mayor's mansion. Investigators say the devices never detonated, but could have seriously injured or even killed someone. Arshana Ferreira with more on the young suspects.
Dueling weekend protests in New York City boiling over in chaos after federal prosecutors say two Bucks County teens attempted to detonate two improvised explosive devices near the mayor's Upper East Side residence. The moment leaving protesters and police officers scrambling, NYPD officers quickly apprehending the teens, pictured here. The photos from the criminal complaint allegedly show 18-year-old Amir Balat hurling an ignited improvised explosive device into the opposing protest crowd Saturday afternoon. Another photo from the criminal complaint allegedly shows Balad and 19-year-old Ibrahim Kayumi moments before the handoff.
As alleged in the complaint, the defendants were inspired by ISIS to carry out their attack.
Investigators say the two devices were deployed but never detonated. No injuries were reported, but investigators say the devices recovered were able to cause serious injury or death.
Preliminary testing has determined that one of the devices contained triacetone triperoxide, or TATP, also commonly referred to as Mother of Satan, a highly volatile explosive that has been used in multiple terrorist attacks over the last decade.
According to the criminal complaint, Ibrahim Kayumi was caught on body-worn cameras claiming inspiration from a terrorist organization. During the arrest, someone in the crowd asked the teen why he did what he did. Kayumi responding saying, quote, ISIS.
There should be no confusion about what ISIS constitutes. It is a designated foreign terrorist organization responsible for deadly terrorist attacks across the globe.
Amir Balad also making statements, according to the criminal complaint, admitting the pair wanted to carry out an attack that was, quote, bigger than the Boston Marathon bombing. Back in Bucks County, Fox 29 went to the home of 19-year-old Ibrahim Kayumi in Newtown. No one answered the door, as well as the home of 18-year-old Amir Balad in Langhorne. Both suburban developments were the site of an FBI search Sunday night. Neighbors in both areas stunned by the news.
We're obviously kind of scared and upset. It's not a community where you usually see those type of things.
This Newtown neighbor asked to be unidentified, but says this news has shaken up the neighborhood, especially with this involving teenagers.
When they close the doors, you never truly know if they're social media at their fingertips and what they're seeing and what they're involved in and what they're hearing at school. You never truly know who a neighbor is, so you always have to be careful.
A dangerous new phase is unfolding.
Okay, Salakia, with that, we'll get back to that. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't normally happen in this neighborhood. We're not known for having ISIS affiliates living next door to our mansions. Yeah, Bucks County, you know what I'm saying? They a lot of people move to Bucks County to get away from the niggers. And apparently now you have terrorists up there throwing bombs. What say the mother of Satan? What is that? You know, can you order that off of Amazon? But apparently America has teenagers that are trying to blow it up. So this kind of adds on to the downfall of society. You know, these children are monsters. And they said, you know, it's broad daylight. As you can see, like, it's not like people weren't looking at them and they didn't cover their faces or anything. You know, they're like, not only are we going to do this, but we want recognition for it. So somebody asked, what are you doing? He said, I'm here for the terrorists. I'm with the terrorists. So the empire is collapsing. All right. And an update on that, they found a significant amount of more explosives in a storage facility that they rented or owned or whatever like that. So welcome to the downfall of America. Okay, now let's keep going. Let's get outside the country. We're going to talk about the radar systems in America. I mean, not in America, but the technology that America has spent billions and trillions of dollars over decades of time had been reduced to rubble in a matter of a short couple weeks, week and a half, something like that. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 10. Esau has been exposed and he's now falling apart. Bring it out, King.
Salaki Khan. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 10. But I have made Esau bare. I uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not.
Khan, right now he cannot hide himself. He is a sitting duck in the Middle East. They had all that technology. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like somebody that has a big rocket launcher, grenade launcher, M16, all types of guns. Like my man on I'm gonna get you, sucker. You know, just guns in every case, every pocket, and slips on a bullet and blows itself away. You know what I mean? That's America right now. That's how America's looking. And it's the little guy that has these little rinky-dink drones. Do you know what I'm saying? These $20,000 drones going up against this $1 billion THAAD missile defense system and hardware, and the $20,000 drones is winning. You know what I mean? And they have like 80,000 of these drones. You know what I'm saying? And they can make them like that. You can't make a THAAD system like that. You know what I'm saying? So let's get Isaiah 14 and 9 on deck, and we're gonna watch this this video. Slakia.
A dangerous new phase is unfolding in the Iran war. This time, the targets are not cities or bases, but the eyes of the American military. Iran seems to be systematically striking U.S. radar installations across the region. If those eyes go blind, the next wave of attacks could be far deadlier. Watch our special report on this.
Something unusual is happening on the battlefield. Explosions are being reported at strategic sites, radar installations, early warning systems, military surveillance hubs. Now the picture is becoming clear. Iran is systematically targeting American radar facilities across the region in a calculated attempt to weaken the defensive shield of Pentagon. These radar systems are critical. They detect incoming missiles, track drones, provide early warning to U.S. forces and allied bases. Take them out and response time collapses. Reports say at least 5 U.S. radar sites were identified and targeted in recent Iranian operations. The strikes appear precise, carefully planned, not random retaliation. Military analysts believe the strategy is simple: blind the radar, then strike harder. From Jordan to Qatar to Bahrain to Kuwait, several American military bases have come under attack, and on target were these radars costing hundreds of millions of dollars. Without early warning, even the most advanced air defense systems struggle to intercept high-speed ballistic missiles.
Real quick, just wanted to say fair USAC, fair USAC. Well, I probably said it, but won't say it again. Fair USAC. This is class teaching fair USAC.
Or swarms of drones. And there may be another layer to this operation. According to Western officials, Russia is believed to be providing intelligence support to Tehran. Satellite surveillance and targeting data could be helping Iran locate sensitive US installations with greater accuracy. If true, it would mean the battlefield is no longer limited to one region. It would mean a silent intelligence war is shaping the missiles that follow. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps has already demonstrated growing precision in recent strikes. By taking out the sensors, Iran has ensured that the next wave of missiles won't just be detected late, they might not be detected at all. The American eyes in the sky are being damaged, leaving the world's most powerful military in the dark, in the middle of a war. Euro Report, we on. World is one.
So that is crucial because if you sit back and think about it, if you don't know, right now, America is far away from home. They are thousands of miles away, trying to invade a country, trying to have a regime change in Iran. It's not working out the way they planned. When they talk about the Ayatollah Khamenei, he was 80 something years old, 86, I think. And they were saying how Vladimir Putin was like, come on to Russia. You know what I'm saying? Don't stay there. You'll be a sitting duck. They're going to invade. We got, intelligence. They're going to invade. Even though they were, America was engaged in talks, peace talks, but peace and sudden destruction happened. You can't listen to Esau. He's always lying. Right. So Putin was like, come over to Russia. You'll be safe here. He said, no, I'm going to stay here in my house. He knew they were going to bomb him. He knew they were going to kill him. So he planned for it. He had everything set up. Okay. When they mess up our communications, y'all rock out over there. You don't have to listen to what's being said over here. It's split. And they knew it would be that way. They knew it will galvanize the country. Iran was, having, riots and protests and all this other stuff. So when they killed Ayatollah, they were like, man, we all in, so he actually martyred himself. Like, the thing is, you can't really, get at these wild men. You know what I mean? The Ishmael, he wants to die. He's like, yo, if I'm getting martyred, I get 72 virgins, man. I'm loving this. So how do you kill somebody who wants to die? That's what America really doesn't understand. You know what I'm saying? The American troops like, man, I ain't dying for no war. I ain't dying for no oil. You know what I mean? But this, in Iranians' mind, this is like existential. It's either, if I don't make it, then they're going to turn my children into Epstein victims. You know what I'm saying? It's bigger than just a war for them. So they planned it out. And the plan, as you can see, is to bomb the military bases where America was, using the runways to plan these attacks. So they bombed the bases. They took out the radar, and they really haven't used a bunch of their main missiles yet. They used a few of those missiles not too long ago, and you can see it's a carpet bombing of just missiles. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it breaks apart. So they shoot out the missile defense system or whatever, the missile defense, interceptors, and this missile breaks apart to 80 pieces and go bombs different places with missiles, 80 missiles. It's crazy, and to see it, it's turning Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv's not allowed. People aren't allowed to actually show what it looks like in Tel Aviv. They're facing like time in prison because it looks like a parking lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, where's the buildings? Why is this smoldering rubble? It looks like Gaza. Some guy flew a plane over Tel Aviv, and he said it looks like a crater. That's what it looks like, a smoking crater. So the Lord is cleansing our land. All praise and honor to the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem HaMashiach Yahushai. Be encouraged, Israel. It's looking good. It's looking real good. You know what I'm saying? We put a smile on your face. You got to go to work tomorrow. You're like, I got to go to work. But, well, you go in there like Hakeem off of of coming to America, I would not be working here long. You know what I'm saying? Soon I will not be working here, Akim. You know, Christ coming back. Okay, these things are moving quick. Oh man, this is amazing. So let's go to Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 9. Okay.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations.
Con, you know what I mean? Hell's like, come on down, Babylon. Come on, Trump. We got a spot for you. You know what I'm saying? All the kings moving out, moving, getting up. Oh, come on down here with us. You know? Go ahead, verse 10.
Verse 10. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us?
Con, like, y'all ain't doing too good. Babylon ain't doing too good. Y'all getting murked over there. What they say? They said 7 dead and 150 injured in a war. Now, Russia and Iran said it's like 600 dead. And I don't know how many they said injured. So somebody lying. You know, I'm willing to go with the probably in the hundreds, you know, especially with these drones that are having pinpoint accuracy since they have Russian technology that's following up. You know what I mean? Satellite technology. The Chinese got a it looks like a destroyer, but I don't think it's armed. It just is able to intercept messages and, you know, reconnaissance type of ship. That's just going back and forth, I believe, in like the Persian Gulf. So they have help. You know what I mean? And, you know, 150 injured. When you get a drone explode through your hotel room or a ballistic missile explode where you're at in a military base, that injury has to be catastrophic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got a leg no more. That's the type of injuries they're talking about. So that's 7 dead. I don't believe it, because the 3 people that died first, I believe, in Kuwait, I seen it on Facebook or whatever, it was 3 Jakes. I'm like, well, isn't that a coincidence? The first 3 people to die on this war are 3 so-called black people. You know what I mean? One, I don't believe it. I'm not saying they didn't die, but other people died. But they gotta galvanize. They gotta say, like, yo, man, they're killing all people, man. That's a black man right there. That's a sister right there. Get you all hype. You know what I mean? Get you feeling all extra. I'm about to enlist, man. I don't know anybody that actually did that, but that's what they're probably thinking. You know what I mean? If you want to know how the military feels about you, you can see Pete Hegseth get off the plane, salute the white man, shake his hand, walk up to the black man, shake his hand, walk up to the white man, salute him and shake his hand. Like, hold up, why ain't you want to salute the brother? You didn't want to salute him? You forgot? And then he walked up to the other brother, saluted him, shake his hand. It's like, oh, all right. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you're not going to fool me again. You know what I'm saying? In the prolific words of George W. So they need, that's how they really feel about you. You know what I'm saying? But when they put that out there, the 3 black, so-called black people died at, you know, in Kuwait through like a ballistic missile or a drone or something like that. I believe it's a lot more than that, but I digress. Can you read verse 11?
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 11. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee.
So it's not the red carpet. Look at, the president's coming. Let's get those women over here and give them the hulu dancers and the, you know what I'm saying, put things around their neck and give them a kiss and play the music and everything like that. No, you're getting dirt and worms. America's getting dirt and worms. Okay. This is the fall of the empire, and we get to watch it in real time. Now, we've been talking about this for a long time as far as the job sectors and the government shutdowns and they had the what's it called, like when the ports closed and people couldn't get their Amazon packages on time and bridges were collapsing and boats going into bridges and all this other stuff. We see the fall of this place. But what makes this significant is that America they can't do anything about it right now unless they drop a nuke, which will turn this whole thing into a whole nother realm, right? It was a big explosion in a city in Iran. I'll check that out later. It said non-nuclear explosion, so I guess they had to say that because it probably looked nuclear. So we'll see. But in this conventional war, America is losing, and Trump is trying to get an off ramp, like, oh yeah, we're done now. We did what we're supposed to do. We killed Ayatollah, we killed 49 of their generals. You know what I'm saying? We stopped their nuclear program, so we're good, right? But Iran's like, well, we're not good. You know what I'm saying? I get my lick back. You started, we're gonna finish it. It's not done till we say it's done. You know what I'm saying? You could stop throwing missiles tonight. That don't mean we're gonna stop doing it. So this takes it to a whole nother level. And the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Donald Trump is still saying, yo, we're good. Strait of Hormuz is fine. No, it's closed. America had an oil tanker go through there tonight. And that thing is on fire. It is burning, baby, burn. You know what it looks like to see an oil tanker on fire in the middle of the water? It looks catastrophic. So that was an American oil tanker. It was American and someone else. I can't think of the other one, but it was in close to Iraq. And it was a suicide boat that blew it up. You know what I'm saying? So Iran's not done by far. They said, we're not stopping until Tel Aviv is a memory, a distant memory. Paraphrasing, of course. Let's talk about the job market, shall we? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 14. Because America, people come from all over the world to get jobs here. You know what I mean? They go to school in America. I got a good job. I'm working on Wall Street. I'm send money back home. This is big. This is what America is. That's why it's called the Great Whore. Everybody comes to fornicate with this hoe. You know what I'm saying? To get a couple dollars. I'm gonna get a couple dollars out of her. Let me move into the Negroes neighborhood. You know what I mean? The Black, Hispanic, or Native American neighborhood. I'm gonna make money off them. They deal with cash. They don't know who they are. I could manipulate them. Start a business out there. Hey, soul brother number one, come on in. You got real money? Yeah, come on in. Then they had a little wife follow you around the store and all that. So the jobs ain't doing too good. Hey, let's talk about it. All right, go ahead. Can you bring it out?
The book of Isaiah, chapter 19, verse 14. The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof. They have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit.
Yeah. America's in bad shape. You know what I mean? It's a perverse spirit. It's an Epstein spirit in this place. Pedophilia and just ratchetness, pornography. Over sexualizing children, all that stuff, right? And they ain't doing too good. Okay, go ahead. Can you read next verse?
Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do.
So ain't nobody got a job now. You know what I mean? Who's the Secretary of Homeland Security? You're fired. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Skedaddle. Gnome, little gnome running around, standing in front of prisons like, you're going to be down here. If you want to mess around in America, you're going to come down to this El Salvador prison, right? Now she ain't got no job. So when we take over, we can ship her down to that El Salvador prison. Okay, keep that in mind. So from the top to the bottom, you know what I mean? They're probably going to fire Pete Hegseth because the war is going terribly. Donald Trump said the war is over. Pete said we're just begun. And the reporter's like, yo, so which one is it? Like, is it just begun or is it over? He was like, oh, it's kind of both. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what they're doing from the top to the bottom. Okay. So let's talk about these job numbers, which makes America great again, right? We're gonna make America great again, he says. Let's see what we got going on here.
We are back with some breaking economic data, and it is big. The U.S. economy unexpectedly lost 92,000 jobs in February. The unemployment rate inched higher to 4.4%. Let's get right to it. NBC News senior business correspondent Christine Romans is here to break down the numbers, along with Caleb Silver. He's Investopedia's editor-in-chief and chief business editor of People Inc. Good morning to both of you. Christine, not what we were expecting. We thought, maybe a gain of 50,000, not a drop of nearly 100,000. Walk us through the numbers.
This is a soft patch in hiring, and there are some revisions here to tell you about. So we're talking about February. You actually had a loss of 92,000 jobs in the month. That was not expected at all. That was after last month was really only 126, and this was not a gain at all in December. This was another loss of about 17,000 jobs. Sorry, my proportions are not great, but you can see what this trend looks like here. That is what we saw last year. Last year, we saw an economy that was basically at a standstill in terms of job creation. The weakest job creation last year of any year that wasn't a recession since 2003. Then we thought there was this momentum in January, but it looks like it really has faded here. Bad weather, you had some healthcare strikes, and you just had companies, frankly, that have been grappling with trade and tariff issues and kind of just all kinds of cross currents in the economy for months now that don't look like they were hiring.
Caleb, what's your reaction to this? What does it tell us about the jobs market right now?
Yeah, we were in a slow hire, slow fire environment. Now I feel like it's melting a little bit when you see these steep revisions and then you see a big drop. Now, February is seasonally weak, generally speaking, and it was cold and there were strikes, but still this shows that more companies are letting go of workers. Might be in 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 here, but the momentum is picking up, and this jobless rate, still only at 4.4%, is not an accurate reflection of how sensitive people feel about the labor economy right now. It's not in good shape.
Christine, when we look at it by industry, what is it we're seeing?
Yeah, you're looking at healthcare job losses there. I'm going to put this back on here so you can see where that jobless rate is. Historically, still 4.4%. Still, I mean, that's still pretty good, but going in the wrong direction here. You saw information jobs lost, you guys. You saw federal government, no surprise, 10,000 jobs lost there. That's because that's on purpose. That's because this administration is trying to lay off and cut federal government jobs. Social services up 9,000, but leisure and hospitality down 27,000. That could very well because of cold weather as well. But we're going to need to watch this very, very carefully, you guys, because there's so much going on in the economy for consumers to be worried about, especially now with new upheaval in the Middle East. And you've had for a long time what economists call a no hire, no fire kind of job market. It looks like there might have been a little bit more firing.
Yeah, and Christine, obviously, February 28th is when the war with Iran started, so these job numbers are not impacted at all by this. But on top of that, we have the surging oil prices. I mean, talk about what we're seeing with that and that mix of this jobs report plus the oil numbers, what that means for the economy.
Yeah, well, we've got wages that are still growing faster than inflation, so that's really important here. But the backdrop of all of this is energy prices that are rising very, very quickly. You've got energy prices here that are at $85 a barrel for crude oil today. Just think of this, it's 67 is where before the strikes in Iran. And you've got gas prices that continue to charge higher very, very quickly. That's going to be something that consumers, no question, consumers and businesses will be grappling with in the days ahead.
Caleb, is this a conundrum for the Federal Reserve now?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to get an inflation report next week that's going to reflect some of these rising oil prices. Won't capture it completely, but you have rising prices and you have a slowing labor market. That's what we call stagflation. That puts the Fed in a tough spot. They're probably not going to do anything until we get a new Fed chair, and the president has formally nominated Kevin Warsh. She'll wait till June maybe for a rate cut, but they're in a tough spot right now. The economy is weakening.
All right, Caleb and Christine breaking down this breaking news for us. Thank you both.
So they said it's going to be, a projected job gain of 50,000, but it was job loss of just about double that. Okay, so when we're looking at that, we got to realize that these numbers came out before all this happened with Iran and Israel striking Iran and America striking Iran. This happened at the end of February, and that's when the war started. So how much worse is it going to be? You know what I mean? How many businesses can continue to stay afloat with this high inflation? And then inflation starts with the gas. So we got to understand that Qatar right now isn't pumping any natural gas. Kuwait right now isn't pumping any oil. There's fires in Iran oil fields, Saudi Arabian oil fields, Israel oil fields, and Bahrain. I'm not sure about any oil fields, but this is what it's looking like. And the Strait of Hormuz is closed. So when you talk about inflation, it's not going to be stagflation. It's going to be hyperinflation. Okay. If they don't get a hold of this. Trump released strategic oil reserves, I think like 190 million barrels or something like that. So he understands what he's saying in front of people, like, oh, we're doing fine, we're great. Why would you take out 190 million barrels of the strategic oil reserve if you're doing great? It's the exact opposite. It means the empire is crumbling. Okay, let's talk about these gas prices. Let's go to 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and 21. These gas prices they ain't looking good, man. It just started, it was just very recent. February 28th, we hold this thing started. Like we're what? Not even in mid-March, not even 2 weeks in, and gas is going astronomical. And it's only going to get worse. And diesel's going to that direction as well. Okay. Never seen this before. That's one thing that's very important. This is something that the prophets have seen. America has never seen anything like this before. The Strait of Hormuz closed. Hasn't happened. Do you know what I'm saying? And on top of that, oil fields are burning. Kuwait's not pumping anymore. What? This is something that no economists on the planet can say this is what's going to happen next because they don't know. But the prophets know. All right. Go ahead, Ken. You can bring it out.
Chaasadyah hears a helicopter flying over.
God.
2nd Ezra 16:21. Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth. Chaasadyah, let me read that again. Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion.
So everybody, man, we're good. Look at that. I can get a bag of chips from the store. I'm good. I just had a soda last night. I'm all right. But keep in mind, when these things started happening with the ports being closed, right? And you start noticing, like, you could still go into a grocery store and they have it mapped out for your eyes to see. So you see like all these chips, which don't go bad within a year. It takes, a year for chips to go bad or whatever like that. And soda could stay there for another year. I do a scratch off the serial number, whatever. But people start noticing, like, dang, I can't get no meat. Where's the beef? You know what I'm saying? Going there and nothing's laid out. Where's the salads? Nothing's laid out. What's going on? Because the ports were going through their thing. Now this is a whole nother level. We're talking about oil, but also ports go through there as well. Cross seas. It's a faster route to go through the Strait of Hormuz. But now Iran's saying that they're putting mines out there. So can nobody go there anymore? You know what I'm saying? They allow China to go through. So you'll see some places going, some tankers going through, and Trump's like, see, it's open. Nah, that's they friends. That's Russia. That's China. America, let them try to get through there, and it's going to the same thing that happened tonight will happen again. Like they're going to blow it up. Okay. Go ahead, read the next verse.
2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 22. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy.
Okay, so it's going to be war right now. They just got a bunch of banks, Goldman Sachs, Chase, Morgan, all them, right? JP Morgan Chase, in a room and said, how are we going to spread out $200 billion for the defense budget, which is already inflated? So that just tells you when Trump says, oh, the war is over. So what's that $200 billion going to? It's going to war. And who's going to fight this war? Americans. Who else going to fight it? They said they're going to get the Kurds to go in there in the ground force. They lied and said the Kurds are going there right now. The Kurds have been lied to so much by America, whether it be in Turkey and Syria. They use them. And then when it's time to get any type of help, they say, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know you, bro. You know what I'm saying? So the Kurds ain't fighting. So they're going to get a draft out. You know what I'm saying? They said, we got some able-bodied soldiers in America going to grab you off the streets like they do in Ukraine and throw you in a van and put you on the front line. That's what it's looking like. Senator Blumenthal came out of a closed-door meeting, and he was like, it seems increasingly, obvious to me that they're going to put boots on the ground. You know what I'm saying? So America doesn't have a husky army like Vietnam, or you know what I'm saying, or the time of World War II and World War III when people get out of high school and I'm going to sign out and be all I can be. Nobody want to fight these white man wars because they know they lying and they know it's for oil. So if it push come to shove, it's going to be on some draft type time. Okay. Let's watch the next video, and then we're going to talk more about these storehouses and this famine, this upcoming famine. Okay. But now let's talk about the gas.
How the escalating war with Iran is hitting Americans right here at home. Oil prices are soaring this morning, continuing a sharp climb that began after the U.S. and Israel launched major strikes on Iran last week. Those attacks triggered widespread disruptions across key Middle East shipping routes and damaged critical oil and gas facilities, cutting into supplies from some of the world's biggest producers.
And that means many of you are already seeing higher prices at the pump. So what can we expect in the days ahead? And as families get ready for spring break, airfare is another big concern. So we've got team coverage on this morning. We're going to begin with Jacqueline Lee in California. You're tracking the latest on gas prices. Jacqueline, good morning.
Hey guys, good morning. Yeah, drivers are going by these gas stations, looking at the prices and saying, this is ridiculous. This gas station selling a gallon of gas for $5.49. Now, we are seeing gas prices surge due to the escalating war in Iran. The national average for a gallon of gas, $3.45, according to Gas Buddy, soaring 48 cents from just a week ago and hitting the highest level since September 2024. Crude oil prices surging more than 35% since last week. This is the biggest weekly increase on record. All of this happening because the Strait of Hormuz is at a virtual standstill. Millions of barrels of oil not getting out. According to Gas Buddy, diesel jumped 22 cents in a day on Friday. That is the biggest single day increase on record. And the reason why this is a big deal is because if it costs companies more money to transport goods, that cost gets passed on to the consumer.
Okay, and you know who the consumer is. All right, let's get 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and 22.
Book of 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 22.
God, yeah, it's serious business. You know, that famine's coming. It's written.
And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty.
Everything. I was just here. I was just in the store. I got all these things, because first off, we understand that inflation's crazy. You spend $200 in the grocery store, you come out with like 2 bags. Like, what did I just buy? You know what I mean? But soon you're going to go in there with that $200. They be like, you might as well eat that $200 because we don't have anything, or it's going to be loaf of bread, $13. Milk already in Philly, coconut milk costs like $7-8. You know what I'm saying? So this is before any of this happened. So how much is that going to cost? You know what I'm saying? soy milk, which I don't really mess with. Soy milk was like, I think like $6 or something like that. So now that you're dealing with this hyperinflation, which will be inevitably coming, you know what I mean? You can kind of like you know, you can set your clock to it. Okay. If Iran said they're not stopping, they got these missiles that they're going to keep throwing at America. I mean, American, military bases and Israel. America's trying to get off on an off ramp so they can replenish their missiles, and their missile defense system, as we've seen, is depleted. It's going to keep on going. I mean, what's going to stop it? Okay. So we got to keep in mind, of course, let's get 2nd Ezra chapter 2 and 27, because it ain't all bad news for us, the children of Israel. Okay. It's bad news for everybody else. And it's bad news for the children of Israel that feel they could sit around and twiddle their thumbs and do nothing in this time period. You know what I mean? Not pray, not fast, not, you know what I mean? You're not doing nothing or following the laws. This part ain't for you. But if you are, or if you see that this is serious business and you want to just change and you want to repent and do better, then we all got to repent. We all got to do better. Okay. But let's read that, King.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 2, verse 27. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance.
So this is a wake-up call, right? A Wednesday wake-up call to be like, man, I want to be merry and have abundance. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be drinking my water out of a puddle and fighting one of the stray cats outside for it. You know what I'm saying? I want the Most High to bless me in these last days. You know what I'm saying? It's obvious Jacob's trouble is legit. You know what I'm saying? We see how it's going in that direction. You know what I mean? All right, so, and then the next verse it talks about that, look, the heathens can't do nothing about it. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, can we get that verse 28?
Verse 28. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the hour.
Ain't nothing you could do about it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing you could do about it. All right. We blessed by the best. All right. All we gotta do is follow these laws, statutes, commandments, and we Most High willing, we ain't gonna be drinking our water out of a puddle. You know what I mean? We could hit a rock and the rock start gushing out water. That's how the Lord works. Okay. So let's get Luke 21 and 10, and we can discuss earthquakes in diverse places. Okay, we understand the famine's coming. We understand that the sword is swinging. There's wars and rumors of wars, right? But we're gonna talk about these earthquakes. Khan, go ahead, Ken. You can bring it out.
Khan, this is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 10. Then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom.
And we can see that
great earthquakes.
Slakia, we can see that taking place right now. Go ahead.
And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilences, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven.
Khan, so I mean, right now we can see all that, from the pestilences of COVID, monkeypox. You know what I'm saying? Fearful signs from the sky, 3-eye atlas. I'm going to talk about that next week. I haven't got enough information about what's going on with that. It's still not just floating out into, the oblivion of space. You know what I mean? There's been reports that it even slowed down and it's getting to Jupiter's orbit. Now, whether that's true or not, I'm going to have to look, further in on that with the scientists. But some fearful things in the sky, blood moons, just occurred. The sun was glitching out. Not saying the sun actually burnt out, but the satellite that was looking at the sun started glitching out. Looks like Morse code. But and the famines, we just talked about that, is potentially on its way. let's look at this earthquake in Louisiana. Louisiana is not known for earthquakes, but that's what diverse places means.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. Breaking news coming out of northwestern Louisiana, where within the last 60 minutes, a strong 4.9 magnitude earthquake coming in at a mere 2 miles deep, super shallow. Anybody in this region that may have felt this earthquake near Marlin or Hall Summit, Mansfield, right here once again in northwestern Louisiana? Keep in mind we're just coming out of the lunar eclipse, where the full moon cycle is starting to wane. We've talked about the recent planetary alignment and the upcoming full moon, and typically the full moon can be an instigator of earthquakes, and this is indeed a very rare earthquake, and we are still in this unique planetary alignment accompanied with the full moon. That is a recipe for earthquakes, and a 4.9 in northwestern Louisiana is not something you see every day. So once again, if there's anybody in this area that may have felt this earthquake this morning, please leave a comment down below in the comment section. Once again, a 4.9 magnitude earthquake in northwestern Louisiana. Thanks for watching. Have a super day.
All right, so Louisiana. Not only just a pretty powerful earthquake, but a shallow earthquake. 2 miles is super, super shallow, as Mr. MBB 333 put out there. You know what I'm saying? So there you go with places. Go ahead, King.
There was a earthquake last year in like St. Louis, Missouri, right? Like around was it around like February or June or something? I forgot.
Yeah. Don't see that a lot. You know what I mean? I'm sure you see it over there, you know, on the West Coast all the time, but we ain't used to that. You know what I'm saying? They had one in Philly, and I saw like the blind shake, and it felt like my dog was shaking behind me, and I'm like, what's going on? And it was an earthquake. And that was, you know, very rare. That might have been like 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago now. You know what I mean? But now Louisiana's shaking. And you know, we could naturally assume there's going to be more. It was a 6.0 magnitude earthquake in Italy. It was in like San Anointed or something like San Anointed, Italy, which I looked up the name, and it's supposed to be a name for the Archangel Michael, you know, who's going to stand up and fight for Israel in the last days. So I felt that to be very prophetic. It was a 6.0, and looks like it's going down. All right. So let's continue on, because apparently there were tornadoes in the Midwest. So America's taking shot after shot. America's getting jumped like the world star, you know what I mean? Getting stumped out, you know what I mean? And it's a pleasure to be alive to see this. Okay, let's go to Isaiah chapter 47, and we're going to start at verse 1.
The book of Isaiah chapter 47, verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate.
Yeah, it's time to sit in the dust. Get off that throne. You know what I'm saying? You ain't the toughest no more. That's another thing that we gotta, you know, pay attention to, because America is being exposed. You know what I mean? You remember that bully? You ever had a bully in high school? You know what I mean? Always walking around picking on people on the way he thought were like the smallest and the weakest people in the school, until one day, somebody that just fought back and threw a haymaker left hook, boom, rocked him. And everybody in the school looks like, yo, he ain't as tough as as I thought he was. Man, I'm about to pick on him now. Yo, give me, you know what I mean? Let me see how much money you got. You know, you gonna buy my lunch now. You know what I mean? And he's been exposed. America is that bully. America's being exposed for the whole world to see. You know what I'm saying? And what they did with Russia, right? They got Ukraine and Russia fighting. You know, if you know the whole thing with Victoria Nuland and John McCain, you know, giving $5 billion to Ukraine, and all of a sudden they're fighting Russia. They changed the guard over there in Ukraine, and now they're fighting Russia. And America was able to sit back and, you know, here's a couple bombs, you know, here's a plane or two. You know what I mean? Just throwing stuff in the mix. You know what I mean? So now that America's caught up in this fiasco of the Middle East, now everybody else is doing that. Now Russia's like, yo, main man's over there. They're trying to hide. You blow them up right now. Oh, and Kim Jong-un was like, yo, you need nukes? I got nukes, bro. You know what I mean? Kim Jong-un, he wants action. He's like, yo, they've been sanctioning me for decades. You know what I'm saying? Longer than a lot of us been alive. They've been coming at North Korea. North Korea patiently waited, got their nukes up and their missile game up. And now they're like, yo, Ukraine, you need something? I got you. Before the Ayatollah that was alive, he's like, no nukes. We cool, we good. But his son's up here. His son's like, yo, what's up? We got nukes. I mean, I'll take a few of them. You know, I'll take a couple of these long-range missiles that can strike further than the missiles they got. So that's another thing that America's leaving. They left out of, I think it was Bahrain or something. You see a whole line of planes getting out of there because the North Korean missiles that are going to be coming in soon, if they ain't coming already, are going to be able to hit a lot further out than the other missiles. So America's getting punched on, you know. Let's keep it going. Go ahead, read verse 2.
This is Isaiah chapter 47, verse 2. Take the millstone and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers.
So you're going to be doing menial work, America. You're falling down from the throne to a servant position, and you're being uncovered. Okay, read verse 3.
Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yeah, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man.
So let's see how the Most High is coming into Babylon. Let's see how the Lord is showing up into Babylon.
This is what you need to know now. The U.S. says it's taken out 16 Iranian mine-laying ships as fears grow on the supply of oil flowing from the Persian Gulf. Israel launches new strikes at...
Slacky, that's not what I wanted. Let me fast forward. Even though we could watch all this, but and also I forgot to mention Lebanon is throwing shots too. And since their interceptors are so decimated, then here we go. Since their interceptors are so decimated that they can't stop the Lebanese missiles as well. So they're getting pummeled from the north and from Iranian side, from the east.
Swept through Kankakee County, Illinois, about 60 miles south of Chicago, leaving behind extensive damage to homes, trees, and power lines. Residents were urged to take shelter, with local officials reporting minor injuries. Hail was also an issue in Kansas City. Some of these stones hitting this lake were the size of softballs. This Georgia high school student facing a first-degree...
Okay. Slocky, I thought it had a lot more about the hurricanes. Let me see some, y'all. My bad. Okay, so let's get why I do that. Let's get Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 6.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 29, verse 6. Thou shalt be visited of Yahweh, thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire.
Okay, so What I'm looking at right there is storm and tempest. Storm and tempest. Okay, can you read the next verse?
The multitude of all nations that fight against Ariel, even all that fight against her and her munition, and that distress her, shall be as a dream of a night vision.
Just like a dream that just is gone now. You know what I mean? So here's more of what took place. And they were fighting against Jerusalem, fighting against the Most High's chosen people, so-called blacks, Hispanics. What God does. Haters say it's Photoshop. What they call climate change. That's some hell of a climate change right there. That seems like an angry God. Windows, cars, trees on houses. Yeah, that look violent. Look at that. That's violent right there. One thing I wasn't able to do this time, but these small towns, I'll look them up in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? Google it, Wikipedia, see what the demographic is and see what the history is. And 9 times out of 10, because of course all these lands were Gads at one point in time in Reuben, and it will say they made a treaty with the Native Americans, and then they conquered them, or they settled in this land at this time, and you already know what that means. Like, how do you settle in the land that's somebody else's? And you look at the demographic, it'll say 4.5% Native American. Then further you go down, it's 2.2% Native American, 1%. Then it's like they ain't even there no more. You know what I mean? And you look at the history, and it'll talk about during the civil rights, so-called black people marched and wanted their civil rights, and it was a big riot, and 4 people were shot and killed, and it's Jake. You know what I mean? And a lot of people went to jail, and it's Jake. So I say that to say these small towns that are getting wrecked by these tornadoes definitely had it coming. The Most High is the best aim. So we're going to look at this for probably like 2-3 more minutes, and we'll move on to the next one. Chaasadyah, Yahweh. Turn it down just a little bit. We're going to also bring out the fact that with Donald Trump and Elon Musk coming in, they made sure that they cut resources that the government needs. So is FEMA able to rebuild these towns and these cities that are hit by tornadoes? Is FEMA able to rebuild when the hurricane season? They said the hurricane season is going to be pretty bad this year. So if you got 4 people working for FEMA and a budget of $30, what you going to do with that? Look at that. The roof is gone and the whole side of the house is tore up.
Guys, again, out here by the Kankakee Airport, you can see storm chasers on the road over here. There was, I don't know if it's a tornado on the ground.
Slack you.
There it is, right there. This is right here, River Road area. Everybody get in, get downstairs if you're out here. Stay safe. I'm going downstairs now. Bye, guys.
Kankakee, founded in 1854. How do you find something that was already there? Okay. Yeah, it ain't looking too good. You know what I mean? Ain't looking too good. So there's a lot more in that, but for the time, for the sake of time.
I got a precept real quick.
Bring it out, King.
Isaiah 28:2. Behold, Yahweh hath a mighty and strong one, which as a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing, shall cast down to the earth with the hand.
All praises. Yeah, the Lord ain't playing. The Lord is not playing about his people, and Babylon's fallen. He said, I'm not gonna meet you as a man. What you gonna do? You gonna try to put a bullet in a tornado? Spin right around and shoot you in your head. That is serious. Okay, so let's talk about the obvious downfall will be World War III. All right, let's get Isaiah 33:1. America is collapsing. You know what I mean? America is collapsing. America thinks they could pick on anybody they want and get away with it. But God, Most High don't like bullies. Okay? And this bully picked the fight with the right one. Because these Elam Ishmaelites, they ready to rumble. You know what I mean? The what do you call it? Ottoman Turks, they're all kind of little mix in there due to conquering and so forth and so on. But these Persians, the Persian Mede, they ain't no joke. Go ahead, King, you bring it out.
Woe to thee that spoilest, Slaki, this is Isaiah 33:1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee.
So you throwing the first shots, nobody bothering you. And now that you like, all right, look, it's cool. We don't want no trouble. We gotta regroup. We gotta revamp. We ain't got no interceptors no more. We ain't got no radar. Yo, it's cool. Like we good now. They like, nah, man. You ain't done, man. You stepped on Gilmore's property. It's a wrap. You gonna know our name by the time this is all said and done. Okay. Let's go to Revelation 11 and verse 14. Because everybody jumping in. All right.
The book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly.
Okay, so I say that because Saudi Arabia said they're jumping in. Saudi Arabia really don't want no smoke, but at the same time, they can't keep getting bombed. They're gonna have to do something. And word on the street is that the Mossad was the ones that bombed Saudi Arabia. The oil fields. They're not saying they didn't bomb the consulates and the embassies. Iran is blowing them Jones up, especially if they're American, they're getting blown up. But the oil fields, they're like, why would we bomb your oil fields? We don't want you to bomb our oil fields. But Israel did that to get them involved, to say, that's why Lindsey Graham's on the news like, yo, Saudi Arabia, you need to jump in. You need to handle this. You know what I mean? Saudi Arabia's smart in that they haven't officially jumped in. You know
That's
what I mean?
I was thinking about just now.
Con, yeah, they think they slick, and they did that in Cyprus as well, where Britain has their fleets at. So they're saying they're like painting drones, probably with the colors of Iran on them and saying, oh, this is Iran that did this. But Iran's coming out saying we didn't do that. Just like they're talking about what they're going to do in California. They're going to bring drones to California. Like, why would Iran do that? They're already winning. They don't need the galvanize. They don't want the American people to get upset. They like the fact that American people don't like this war and that, it's hitting our pockets. So we're going to stand up and, people going to go in the White House and drag Trump out. That's what they want to happen. So why would they want America sending their kids off to war? Oh, they bombed us and all that. That don't make no sense. So it looks like a false flag, which America's good for. 9/11. Nobody's, new to this, right? Inside job. So, but Qatar could possibly jump in. You know what I mean? North Korea is waiting. They're like double Dutch. Like, come on, just tag me in, coach. You got Russia giving intel, China giving intel. You know what I mean? And you got Israel and America in this bombing campaign. Spain's like, we don't want to do nothing with. We don't got no smoke with y'all. Most of European countries are saying they don't want no smoke because the minute they get in, it's going to be a wrap. And also, Russia said that they stopped giving oil exports to Europe, which is going to push Europe to come in on this. So you can see how this is coming about. So we've got to keep an eye on it and be smart and not get emotional when it comes to these things that are happening. You know what I mean? Just be aware that we are living in Babylon, and Babylon's going to do what Babylon always does.
So it's dreadful.
Professor Jeffrey Sachs, I've interviewed you many times. I don't think I've ever heard you speaking with such raw emotion, but I appreciate you coming back.
We're heading to World War III, and we're being led by extraordinarily violent governments.
Yeah. I mean, it's just such a, the whole situation internationally has been so tense already with what's going on in Gaza, with what's going on in Ukraine. It's like, and to add this to the pile, it's like, it genuinely feels like there's a real possibility that we might be entering World War III.
What would that look like?
I don't know. I never expected Iran to start attacking. They launched bombs into UAE, Dubai. Where else?
Let's take a closer look at the comments issued by Iran's Revolutionary Guard to President Trump's comments on the war ending soon. The statement says, our hands are open to expanding the war. Security will be for all and insecurity for all. We are the ones who will determine the end of the war. The statement goes on to say the regional equations and the future situation of the region are now in the hands of the Islamic Republic's armed forces, and that the American forces will not be the ones to end the war.
I emerged from this briefing as dissatisfied and angry, frankly, as I have from any past briefing in my 15 years in the Senate. I am left with more questions than answers, especially about the cost of the war. My questions have been unanswered, and I will demand answers because the American people deserve to know. And I guess I am most concerned about the threat to American lives of potentially deploying our sons and daughters on the ground in Iran. We seem to be on a path toward deploying American troops on the ground in Iran to accomplish any of the potential objectives here.
And so bad news is not necessarily deterrence. It may just mean escalation to Armageddon. It is a grim situation that we're in. We've not seen anything like it, actually, since World War II. This is even beyond the Iraq War. They then had, I won't say the dignity, but they then had the impulse to hide the motivations. Here, there is no impulse to hide the motivations. It's just complete kill anybody and kill everybody.
There is also, as disturbingly as anything else, the specter of active Russian aid to Iran, putting in danger American lives. Literally, Russia seems to be aiding our enemy actively and intensively with intelligence and perhaps with other means. And China also may be assisting Iran. So the American people deserve to know much more than this administration has told them about the cost of the war, the danger to our sons and daughters in uniform, and the potential for further escalation and widening of this war.
دیدید همین دیشب
کار بر ما آسان شده.
در تل‌آویو چی شده؟
بله.
یعنی ما چون رادارها رو زدیم، زیرساخت‌ها رو زدیم، امروز واقعا آقای ترامپ و نتانیاهو در یک قتلگاهی در خلیج فارس گرفتار شدن و روزها و هفته‌های آینده خبرهای بسیار خوشحالتری خدمت ملت عزیز ایران داده.
Iran has begun laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. This is according to two people familiar with the matter. It's another major complication as the world's top oil exporter warns there could be, quote, catastrophic consequences for oil markets if the conflict keeps disrupting ship and oil tanker traffic through the strait. He says beyond upending shipping and insurance, the ongoing disruption could snowball, threatening aviation, agriculture, and other industries. A short time ago, the White House repeated President Trump's promise to provide government-backed insurance as well as naval escorts to keep tankers moving. So far, those shipping companies are resisting traveling through the region while the fighting goes on.
So just further to that, this was posted by Donald Trump 28 minutes ago. If Iran has put out any mines in the Hormuz Strait, and we have no reports of them doing so, we want them removed immediately. If for any reason mines were placed and they are not removed forthwith, the military consequences to Iran will be at a level never seen before. So that was the first post 29 minutes ago. Then there's been a new post from the president 16 minutes ago in which he says, I am pleased to report that within the last few hours we have hit and completely destroyed 10 inactive mine-laying boats and or ships, with more to follow. So he's changed tack a little bit there. He says no reports of them laying mines, but then says inactive mines have been completely destroyed, upwards of 10 of them. So that just gives you an idea of what is part of Iran's military arsenal. That just in from Donald Trump.
Let's not forget that today we were supposed to see the U.S. Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, as well as Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, come into Israel, but that visit has been cancelled. And many are saying that this cancellation could reflect a tension in the how is the war going to unfold between the U.S. and Israel. Let's not forget that since the beginning of the war, the goals did not fully align between what the U.S. wanted from this war and what Israel wanted. And Israel kept reiterating that they want to keep operating until they eliminate the Iranian, what they call existential threat, as well as pounding the regime's facilities, military facilities, nuclear facilities, as well as oil facilities, which is also another reason why the U.S. administration has been showing concerns, according to media reports.
Here's part of what General Kane had to say about how things are going at the briefing. He was standing next to Hegseth earlier today. Take a listen.
This progress has allowed CENTCOM to establish localized air superiority across the southern flank of the Iranian coast and penetrate their defenses with overwhelming precision and firepower. We will now begin to expand inland, striking progressively deeper into Iranian territory.
So how close are we, in your view, John, to whatever the end might be? Because we're also spending a lot of money. Our friends at thehill.com had a story today that the Pentagon churned through about $5.6 billion worth of munitions just in the first 2 days of this conflict. Does it feel like it's almost over to you?
So this is a disaster that is not likely to go away. No one's claiming in Israel or the U.S. that it's likely to go away. And the consequences for the world will be utterly awful. And Piers, we have a lot of Americans. We have a very particular society. We have a lot of Americans who are saying, "Move on. This is Armageddon coming. This is the promised end of the world." We are hearing lots of reports about this being preached in the military. We're seeing a lot of people who believe that the worse it gets, the closer we are to the second coming of Jesus Christ.
5,000 targets struck, 50 Iranian naval vessels sunk, but Iran continues attacks on Gulf countries.
Are they more formidable than you anticipated, General?
I mean, I think they're fighting, and I respect that, but I don't think they're more formidable than what we thought.
The two biggest pressures on President Trump, the rising cost of oil and the strain on stockpiles of expensive munitions. The U.S. military used more than 150 of the 534 THAAD interceptors during last summer's Iranian operation. The 2026 defense budget adds only 37 more to the arsenal.
We risk getting into a very precarious situation, one that could invite or tempt somebody like China.
President Xi of China has set 2027 as the year in which his military should be ready to take Taiwan by force if necessary. The U.S. Navy will need missile defense systems for its bases throughout the Pacific, its Navy warships and long-range missiles to defend Taiwan and deter China. President Trump says the U.S. military has a limitless stockpile of weapons, but also met with key defense contractors last Friday and pressed them to quadruple production.
Now he says, you know, Esau lies all the time, right? So he says, we got an unlimited amount of this, that, and the third, but they had to go to South Korea and take their THAAD missile defense system away. And now South Korea is like talking to North Korea, like, yo, we should be friends. Oh, now you want to be friends because your big brother, right? You're the tough guy, the bully, who's supposed to have an unlimited amount of supplies, got his radar and their missile defense systems bombed back to the Stone Age and had to go to South Korea to get missile defense systems in order to continue on with this war with Iran, leaving South Korea vulnerable. And when things start to get hectic and America's really in the mix and they got ground troops, China don't have to wait till 2027 to take Taiwan. They could just hop right over there because of all the resources over there in the Middle East. So as you can see, this is entering into some interesting territory. Let's go to Psalm chapter 51, verse 6. We're going to talk about health and wellness as a closing video. Always something to, to think about, to be more healthy. Little things can make you, change your health and all that, which is crucial in these last days because we taking the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be kings and princesses and our daughters of Zion. I don't have to walk on the floor. Somebody be carrying you everywhere, and brothers is gonna be, going to different planets and stuff. It's just mind-boggling what's in this book. Okay, but until we do that, let's build ourselves up, build our body up. Kai, you can bring it out, King.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 51, verse 6. So, behold, thou desirest truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part thou shalt make me to know wisdom.
Read on.
Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow.
So, David's talking about, of course, cleansing of his sin, of his iniquity and everything. But, we could look at that as twofold. With wisdom is, we could detox ourselves, clean ourselves out. Apparently, whether I don't know if it's true or not, but it seemed to be from some reputable sources that, the CIA was holding key information about how to cure cancer. And they were saying how parasites have a big involvement in cancer and everything like that, and how to get rid of them. So we should be detoxing. We got to smell this disgusting air, this chemtrails, take showers with this fluoridated water, you know what I mean? Drinking the tap water might have fluoride in it. Might have your first half of your life, or you might even be now still getting vaccines and things of that nature that could, disrupt your body and everything. So detoxing in America is very, very necessary. You know what I mean? So let's watch this next video. It talks about the scraping of the tongue and the benefits of that. Okay, if you never heard of a tongue scraper, something that's what it is. It scrapes the stuff that's on your tongue. Okay, and it could be some heavy stuff in there. You can get, bacteria on your tongue, bacteria in your gums causing gingivitis and periodontitis and all these gum diseases. So we can detox our mouth. I want to talk also about oil pulling. You know what I mean? Maybe we'll talk about that next week. I think I might have talked about it before. I want to talk about it again. Coconut oil. Sometimes people use olive oil, but we'll get into all that if everything is still legit on for next week. But let's watch this video and we'll close out.
Welcome back. This is Dr. Jen Sung, where clinical excellence meets excellent results. Today, we're going to talk about the health benefits of tongue scraping. Let's get right into it. Tongue scraping has been used for thousands of years during the Roman times, and even George Washington apparently has used a tongue scraper for his dental issues. Helps to maintain good balance between the beneficial bacteria and the overgrowth bacteria. Basically, it improves the microbiome of the oral cavity. When you do tongue scraping, it helps to improve nitric oxide, which will improve circulation and blood flow, improves bad breath or halitosis, enhances your taste or taste buds, may reduce cavities and gingivitis or periodontal disease. Now, oftentimes people will do tongue scraping because they look at their tongue and it's coated white. Now, the different mechanisms for a coated tongue: medications, smoking, dry mouth, yeast or candida overgrowth. Now, if you do have true yeast or candida overgrowth, you may need a medication. You might need to go on a diet restricting carbohydrates, or take some herbals that will knock down the yeast infection. Okay? Now, increased bacteria or a coated tongue will cause increase in VOC, or volatile organic compounds. Basically, this will increase bad breath. Volatile organic compounds consist of hydrogen sulfide, methyl mercaptans, dimethyl sulfides. So the bacteria will produce these types of gases, which will create bad breath. So there was a small study. They used tongue scraping, and it showed a decrease of volatile organic compounds by 75%. And brushing alone decreased volatile organic compounds by 45%. So if you did proper hygiene and included dental flossing, you can probably reduce volatile organic compounds significantly. Now, when I talk about these benefits of tongue scraping, there's not a lot of studies, right? They're very small studies, and there are limited data. And sometimes it just says it doesn't really do anything. However, I find that people who do it tend to be a little bit healthier, and they improve their gut microbiome as well as the oral microbiome. So it might be something you might want to try, all right? My name is Dr. Jin Sung, where clinical excellence meets excellent results, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right, so look into that. The tongue scraper, you get it at what, CVS or whatever's in your neighborhood as far as like drugstores concerned. Everything's on Amazon. You already know that, but something that you might want to look into, you know what I mean? Get the bacteria right in your body. Your oral health is very important. Sometimes we neglect that. But it's something that, once it goes bad, then you know that it's going bad. You don't want that. Okay. So check that out. Like I said, next week, Most High willing, if everything's still on pace, we're going to talk about oil pulling. That's like gargling pretty much with oils, oil in your mouth. Not swallowing any of it because there's bacteria in there. You don't want to do that, and how to put some water in your mouth immediately afterwards and then brush your teeth. So we'll get into all that as well, if it be the Most High's will. Let's end with one more scripture, Isaiah 35 and 3. Baba Gashar. All right. If you got it, you can bring it out. Slack, you there, King? Oh, matter of fact, Slack, I'll bring it out. Isaiah 35 and verse 3, strengthen ye the weak hands and confirm the feeble knees. Verse 4, say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, your God will come with vengeance, even God with a recompense. As a matter of fact, even Yahweh with a recompense. He will come and save you. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Mashiach Yahushua. We got next. You see it's collapsing. The empire is falling. The empire is collapsing. You know what I'm saying? The Empire State Building might collapse. This is just what's been going on. You know what I mean? So this is what the Lord is doing to this place. Let's keep going. Stay focused. Aim for the right direction. Follow these law, statutes, commandments. Kom Yashala. We got next. Shalom.
Philadelphia. Philly, Philly. Brotherly love. We see you. Philly. Come on. Yeah. Asha, represent for Philly. A strong shout out, brotherly love to my brothers from Philly. Greetings, it's your brothers from New York City. Home of the cream of the team of the baseball Phillies. We got Howard the Powers, they don't fly with that's and lilies. We not smoking no Phillies, but enduring these curses. Philadelphia, one of the 7 holy churches. New York, see them. When we see the brothers, we greet them. Oh, the Rocky Steps. Philadelphia Museum, Rittenhouse Square, Liberty Bell, Roosevelt Mall, downtown Philly, neighborhood near the city hall. Lay in the cut, stay in the cut, straight off the edges. And knowledge on the highways and byways and the hedges. Holding the fort down with support without the shackles. It's Philadelphia in New York, the rotten apple. Gathered it together brothers, we lock it down. In the city of brotherly love, what's the hometown? Philadelphia, the state that's known for the Philly cheesesteaks that be right across over the Franklin Bridge from New Jersey to Philly. We in it's H-O-I-N-Y and H-O-I Philly, H-O-I Philly, H-O-I Philly, H-O-I Philly, and New York City. See Yahweh shot up above, and H-O-I-N-Y J and Philly brotherly love. Shalom. Shalom to my mighty brothers, power to Israel. The Passover last year was in New York City. This year we celebrated in the home of Philly. Feeling the Philadelphia vibe, the tribes feeling it. Keeping the Lord's statute commandments and we living it. Remember the Passover coming out of Egypt, the house of bondage caught and brought into slave ships. Eat the unlimited bread, the lamb, the bitter herbs, the wine, the blood of Yahweh Shai. What is the word? Represent the ancestors, the captivity, the history, the chronology, and the prophecies. Rehearse the righteous acts, that be the dilly. It's HOI Philly and New York City. We in Philadelphia, the state is known for the Philly cheesesteak stabby. Right across over the Franklin Bridge from New Jersey to Philly. We in it's HOI-NY and HOI Philly. HOI Philly, HOI Philly, HOI Philly and New York City.
How about in Philly with the hood packing back Billy, strap illy. If you acting hard, you can clap silly. They get no truth in the booth, eating bad Philly, posted mad videos for the Howard like a rap city. Hammer leg getting mad, then your menopause. Caught the Howard through the people like a dinner floors. But I'm getting mad, nigga, you my wash pot. I want my fried rice cooked in a crock pot. We love Philly, bring the scriptures out non-stop. Hope all the heathen hit the word that they heart stop. If a Howard Shaw was back here on earth today, it used Philly to a seed that crack vertebrates. Murder rate, deep Philly soft, you gon' learn today. I pray the Lord for the words that I heard today. Got my spirit sharp, moving like a bird of prey. I pray the most high, and you wanna throw away. Like a lighter, hope my elders get worth away. H.O.I. been screaming cause I mean it. Can't bring a heat to the devil, he's anemic. Raising up the army of the Howard is strategic. World War III, like a fire, it's the scenic. H.O.Y. to the chariots fly. Little Philly gonna scream until America die. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Philadelphia, the state is known for their Philly cheesesteak stabby. Right across over the Franklin Bridge from New Jersey to Philly. We in